Dennis, great to be here with you today at the Rome factory, which is in Nairobi, Kenya. Tell me, Rome, how did it get here to this factory that's now manufacturing, or can manufacture, as I understand, thousands of bikes every month?
Most welcome, Ben, to the Rome factory. We are privileged to have you here. So Rome began basically by retrofitting ICE vehicles to electric. That's our whole journey, but now we are focusing on new vehicles. For example, electric motorcycles that you can see in our background here. We commissioned this factory back in July last year, although moved in November of 2022, just to set up an assembly line that will churn out a few motorcycles every day towards our target of 50,000 electric motorcycles annually. Yeah.
And I read on your website, I think you've got 4 different types of products that you're offering. What are they?
Right, we have product and overarching solutions. So our product categories are electric motorcycles. These basically are usable by boda riders, delivery companies. Then you have what we call electric buses, different 2 types, Rome Rapid, Rome Move. Rome Rapid used for electric mass transportation system, a very inclusive bus and utilized especially in BRT systems. Then you have the Rome Move that is used to do shuttle services or intercity services, shorter range, but can handle the beating of African terrains. Then you have energy and charging infrastructure. This basically includes solar, energy storage devices, basically lithium-ion batteries, and also now all these 3 products are all converged through monitoring in a canopy platform. So every data from the motorcycles, buses, energy and systems and charging infrastructure is all managed by a canopy platform. So that's how ecosystem looks like.
And it must be pretty difficult to work on manufacturing buses and all that goes into that, as well as electric motorbikes. Is that a challenge, or do they overlap in terms of technologies and production lines?
Certainly, they have one baseline concept, which is electricity, because here we are looking at electrifying Africa, one vehicle at a time. So essentially, the concept of development of this product is separate in different ways, because motorcycles has its own value chains and supply chains compared to buses, but we approach them in different ways. We do a lot more on electric motorcycles in-house compared to buses where we use partnership models. And on energy systems, it's sort of a mature product that is market ready and deployable with our in-house capacity. Yeah.
And Rome started as Opibus, initially in the retrofitting vehicle space. That doesn't seem to have developed or unfolded as maybe as wanted, and it doesn't seem like retrofitting is taking off anywhere in the world as a scalable solution. Is retrofitting dead, or is it something that we can see as a solution anywhere in the world, and definitely here in Nairobi in Kenya?
Our story started, of course, by retrofitting of electric Land Cruisers, some electric motorcycles to electric. And I would say it's not dead. Certainly it has some niche applications. What Rome aspires to do, especially when you are open bus, is to meet the needs of the market. For example, in Kenya alone, over 2 million motorcycles, taking that conversion processes, which also involves different models of motorcycles, the different companies. Then that means you have to develop templates. Again, you have to assess the condition of the chassis and all those things. And that will have been a bottleneck of scaling. Our solution had appetite in the market, and we saw the need of doing it sort of what we call a bespoke to fit in what the market requires. For example, the conversion will only fit 1 battery, but our new bespoke will fit 2 batteries, giving extra range, thus meeting some of the needs it requires. Another challenge is to do with cost aspect, because churning out conversions, it's a little bit slower. Then you will have a higher cost of conversion, especially due to labor that needs to go in, manpower, and also the cost of time essentially will be higher. Yeah.
Which is interesting, isn't it? Because when you think of converting an old vehicle and adding a battery and a motor to it, you think there would be a much lower cost. So very interesting to hear that actually the cost goes up. You've got a huge factory here. I think you opened last year in 2023. I can imagine you need a mega team to run this kind of operation. So what kind of team do you have today, from, say, the boardroom level all the way down to engineers and the person I met as I came in at the front desk?
Yeah, it takes a big team and a dedicated team to run production processes for, churning out electric motorcycles, which market has confidence in. So essentially, our core is based on the R&D. So we have about over 60 research and development engineers in different departments, whether electrical, mechanical, mechatronics, and software, just sitting somewhere and making the product look the way it looks right now. Besides that, you have supporting roles, whether it's on administrative, HR, the C-suite level in managing all the processes, and you also have external communicators, which are marketing and sales, community, and also advocacy and policy communities where I actually sit, making sure that whatever we are communicating out there resonates, and inwards also resonate with the market, and whatever we give to the market is acceptable. So right now we are a team of 210 people, distributed also, most importantly, manufacturing. We have a manufacturing, a production and manufacturing department. That there are few parts that we are able to locally or internally produce that go to the fitment of the motorcycles. Say, for example, if we include the partners that we have, I would say the numbers is enormous, because bus bodybuilding takes a lot of people to bring that bus, more than 20 people per bus. But the bottom line is mostly towards creating opportunities in the e-mobility space so that it can become a growing and thriving sector.
So you're definitely a job creator. You're creating clean jobs here in Nairobi. What are some of the skills that you require from a workforce going forward, and do they currently exist within Kenya, or is there a level of training that's required to ensure that you've got the right levels of staff going forward?
We definitely have a lot of talent, especially in Kenya. Critical thinkers, very creative people, idealists, innovators. We come up with solution based on the challenge at hand almost instantly. So there is opportunity to mop up local talent when it comes to the production processes, whether it's R&D or whether it's outward looking when it comes to after sales services, and even like we did a training here for 60 people. These are part of people who are going to be representing the e-mobility industry out there. So we are also looking at training what we call mechanics or technicians will also go in supporting the after-sales service in future.
And so on the topic of skills still, I did read that President Ruto would like Rome to localize as much of the products here, these components, localize them as quickly as possible. So how's that going? Is it possible? And again, what do you need from the ecosystem to make that happen for Rome over the next few years?
Yeah, localization is on top of the agenda. For you to become a fully established manufacturer, you definitely have to have your localization plan in place and meeting at least the 14 parts or so that are integrated from the local supply chain. So in this case, Rome has been able to at least do a few of these parts in-house, and the other parts are being done by partners around us. But they're usually a bit of challenges, if I may say, when it comes to the volume, the quantity requirements, because most of these part manufacturers within Nairobi or within Kenya requires a certain number of MOQ. But this can be resolved essentially by having a round table, sitting down and agreeing on an entire roadmap for not 1 year, 2 years, but a longer roadmap of maybe 5 years production epochs or time.
So some coordination required across the supply chain. And so you've been with Rome for 3 years. Over that time, have you seen the supply chain grow? Because it seems like Kenya is now full of electric vehicle companies, two-wheelers, buses, three-wheelers, bikes, motorcycles. Has that seen an evident shift in the supply chain to the point now where you can recognize there are more suppliers that could support with your business needs?
Yes, certainly. Because of the requirement of production, there are people who come do assessment here. We also have a production team that does assessment of potential and prospective partners, where we can discuss on certain parts, whether it's a footrest, whether it's a space tank. For example, our space tank can move from what we call fiberglass all the way to plastic moldings. What does that mean? Or we can choose to use different type of rim that can be locally sourced. What does that mean? So basically, it's a roadmap that has to be co-created together. And in future, as we see the volume scaling, definitely we'll see machinery and equipment coming into Kenya to make the parts more accessible, more affordable. Because essentially it boils down to cost per part compared to importing. Because at the end of the day, this bike will go to a rider, and the rider will require to amortize it at a particular time, and also make sure that part meets the quality and standard that will serve within the desired timeline.
So you've set up shop in Kenya, you've grown with Kenya, you launched in Kenya. What is it that makes Kenya the right environment for Rome to build and scale their solution? And has anything changed in the last few years that has improved or decreased the opportunity for that business environment?
Yeah, Kenya is a very unique country when it comes to technology movement. If I can touch on the M-Pesa movement that came in, mobile money, so it's spread everywhere right now. And it's going to be the same for such technological advancements such as e-mobility. We see uptake being exponentially growing year on year. And this is attributed towards Kenyans understanding concepts very fast and knowing that this electric motorcycle will do several things: save their money at the end of the day, save the environment, and probably be able to employ extra people within the ecosystem. But there are good things that have come out. When the president was here to launch this, to open this facility officially, he mentioned a few raft of measures that he's put in the Finance Act 2023, now in the next cycle, such as VAT exemption on electric motorcycles, electric buses, energy tariff. Now we have an e-mobility tariff that is almost at night half price of the current market rate, which is good, especially when it comes to returning the value of that investment quicker than expected. And again, it also benefits the country when it comes to foreign exchange. How do we able to preserve our foreign reserves to do other critical aspects rather than buying fossil fuel? The other aspect is to do with energy, renewable energy that is plenty in Nairobi. We are talking about over 90% in renewable energy. But even at night, thermal plants might not be used. So when you're charging at night, probably you're using 100% renewable energy. Wow. So there are definitely movements and opportunities that have come in within the mobility space, and government policy is coming on board. We have a task force that has been mandated to develop the mobility policy. Again, this will culminate into an act and regulations to guide the growth of the sector. So it's a matter of time that things will unlock slowly and gradually, but we remain positive that Kenya is the right investment hub for electric vehicles and e-mobility in general.
Well, it sounds like you've definitely got many of the items on most people's wish list: the renewable energy, the electricity tariff, VAD reduction. So let's look at your customer. So who is your customer?
Our customers on the three products plus canopy that I mentioned before is electric motorcycles. You're looking for border riders. As I mentioned, we have over 2 million borders.
And are you selling directly to them, or is it through agents or different types of models?
Well, it's all a mix, but the most moving one is where we have partners such as M-Copper now uptaking the product. Just because of accessibility, they will ask a rider to pay a deposit of a low amount, 20 to 30,000 Kenyan shillings. Then they pay installments on a daily or an agreed basis until the completion of that term. Then the rider is able to own. But Chrome also comes in and provides the after-sales service, because uptime is very critical to make sure that that rider makes money at the end of the day and also preserves the environment, so that guy should not go back to a petrol bike. Yeah, so holistic confidence into the product has to go in. We also have electric buses.
And just on, sorry, the M-Copper piece, because I see M-Coppers on a lot of the bikes, the logo. So how vital is a financing platform like M-Copper? Could you do it without them at this point in time?
Yeah, I would say they are an ecosystem player of improving accessibility. Yeah, because financial accessibility, where we talk about interest rate being high, or the traditional systems requiring you to have a collateral and a very big bank statement, they are coming in to help in making sure that any person who wants to venture into the border industry can actually access the product instantly and start making money day one of accessing that product. And they also have a checklist, which is sort of safety and qualification criteria that border rider has to is well trained, has a proper driving license. So that also helps in making sure that the product is well utilized for the right purpose.
Great to hear. So you've got this amazing electric bus outside that it's built in Kenya, right? You built that. It's your prototype, if I'm not mistaken. So once that's up and running and you got them flying off the production line, who are your target customers there? Who's going to be buying these buses?
Kenya has over 100,000 matatus, but we're talking about 30,000 buses. All these buses are meet every day. They cost probably extra cost to maintain and operate to the operators or the responsible cooperatives. And we as Rome want to respond to their needs, especially when it comes to the operational figures that they churn out, because you can cut that by 60%. And in maintenance cost, we are looking at even reducing that by 80%. So our customers would be SACCOs operating within city routes, intercity routes, and also institutions that say, for example, schools. They do their daily runs in the morning and the evening, so the bus can charge even using our renewable energy storage solutions that we have during the day, or the e-mobility tariff during the night. Yeah, and basically anybody who uses a bus to moving multiple people and public transportation systems such as BRT, those will be our target sort of customers.
Brilliant. And then there's obviously a lot of really good Chinese and Indian products out there, especially in the two-wheeler market. So what is it that makes Rome different, and how will you compete against those products today and in the future?
Right. Rome being a Kenyan company, inspired by the movement of ICE to electric and championing also that particular movement, we've been able to, first of all, we started by converting bikes, and we were able to learn a lot, because you talk to the person operating that bike, the rider, and from that feedback you're able to design and develop a product that fits his or her user needs. And that's one of our strengths where we focus on market fit. We have a very big R&D team which has its own subset it's working, so that to optimize the whole product, whether it's carrying big loads, going uphill, or even the robustness of the product to go even over 4 years without any big challenge. That is definitely our focus areas. Yeah.
Great, Dennis. It's been amazing to visit the Rome factory today. I really enjoyed riding the bike. Very smooth. Thank you so much, and congratulations and best of luck over the next few years.
Many thanks, Ben. Thank you for visiting us, and most welcome. We also ask anybody who will be around Nairobi to come just say hi, because we believe that the future is electric and we should make this movement happen together. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.